things move in real life? Say a ball is moving on a flat ground and there's no external force acting on it. Will the ball eventually come to a halt? Yes, it will. Have you ever wondered why? Say you're skating on an ice rink and your friend is skating on the road. Whose movement do you think will be smoother? Definitely yours. When you hold a bottle in your hand, why doesn't it just slip through and fall? Sometimes when you're walking around in a mall, do you remember seeing a caution sign to warn you about the floor being wet? What explains all this? The answer is friction. The reason why the ball eventually comes to a halt is because of the force of friction. The reason why skating on an ice rink is easier because the force of friction is lesser there. The bottle doesn't slip through because the force of friction between your hand and the bottle doesn't allow it to do so. If the floor is wet, the friction offered by it reduces and there are chances that you might slip and fall. So what is this friction we're talking about? It's quite easy to understand its concept. Friction is nothing but a force. It is the force exerted by a surface where an object moves across it. In the first case, when the ball is moving in this direction, the force of friction is acting in the opposite direction. The force of friction offered by the ice rink floor is lesser than the force of friction offered by the road. Hence, skating on the ice rink is easier and seems effortless. The bottle does not slip down because the surface of your hand offers a friction in the upward direction. And in the case of the floor in the mall, the soapy water reduces the friction offered by the floor. In the coming lessons, we'll learn a lot more about friction.
Hello everyone, hope you all are fine. In first session we started the lesson friction. In that we have seen factors affecting friction and the causes of friction and friction of what is friction means. Okay. Hope you understood those three concepts. Now let's proceed today with the next one, that is kinds of friction. What are different kinds of friction? Next, friction, unnecessary evil. And third point is that what is the effects of friction? What are the effects of friction and what is meant by fluid friction? So these 3-4 points we are going to discuss and see with the help of some activities as we used to do. Okay. So let us start with the first, that is the kinds of friction. Okay. There are mainly 3 kinds of friction. Okay. The first one is the static friction, which I explained earlier as well. Then sliding friction and then rolling friction. Okay. To understand these 3 concepts or these 3 friction, we'll perform some activities. Let's move towards the activities. Okay.
Let's say you have this cuboid-shaped box placed on the table. Try pushing it a little. You will require some force to push it forward. Now place this same box on top of cylindrical-shaped pencils and push it. What do you notice? You will notice that the force required by you to push it to the same point as before will be lesser. Why is that? Do the pencils reduce the friction between the box and the table? Absolutely. But it's not about the pencils, it's about the shape of the pencils. They are cylindrical. Assume you are traveling to another city and you are carrying luggage weighing around 25 kilograms. If you're unable to carry the bag, the only option you have is to drag it on the floor. But you will still require a lot of effort to drag your bag. But what if your luggage had wheels under it? Won't it be far easier to carry it around? Yes, it'll be easier. But the question is why? Why is it easier to roll a box over cylindrical pencils relative to pushing it on a flat surface? Why is it easier to carry the bag around when it has rollers under it? Hold on to this thought, I'll come back to it. Before we discuss the above situations, we need to understand what sliding friction is. The concept is simple. It is the frictional force which opposes the relative sliding motion between the 2 surfaces in contact. What does this mean in simple words? It simply means that if an object is in motion on a surface, the frictional force that is offered by the surface is called the sliding friction. The key words here are sliding motion. The 2 surfaces have to be in relative motion with each other. In our example, when a box is moving on the table, we say that the box is in relative motion with the table. The resistive force applied by the table when the box is moving is called sliding friction. Remember, the objects have to be in relative motion. Because there's movement involved, this force is also called kinetic friction. Now consider the example of the luggage in which we don't have the wheels under it. When we move the luggage, what will the resistive force applied by the ground be called? Yes, sliding friction. But what happens when we attach circular wheels at the bottom of the luggage? Yes, the friction gets reduced to a great extent. This type of friction, which arises when an object is rolled on a surface, is called rolling friction. It is a force associated with rotational movement. Now, can you tell me by pure intuition about which force will be lesser? Sliding friction or rolling friction? Yes, rolling friction is usually lesser than the one associated with sliding friction. And that's why attaching wheels at the bottom makes it easier to move the object around. And similarly, moving the box on top of the cylindrical pencils is also easier. Can you think of more examples where the concept of rolling friction is used to reduce the friction? Yes, tires of your car. When the car is in motion, the ground applies a force of resistance, which is nothing but rolling friction on the tires. Do you remember seeing ball bearings? They are spherical metal balls used in many mechanical structures which have moving parts. They're generally made up of stainless steel, brass or ceramic. They reduce friction to a great extent, which in turn reduces the wear and tear of machine parts. So we got the concept of sliding and rolling friction. There is another interesting type of friction which we need to know about. Will the force of friction come into play only when the two things are in relative motion? Not necessarily. To know which kind of friction I'm talking about, watch our next video.
Just now we conducted these activities, and from these activities I hope you understood what is the difference between the static, rolling and sliding friction. Okay. That is friction a necessary evil. Why it is said that friction a necessary evil? So let's see the good and the bad aspects of friction. If you see the good aspects of friction, you will understand if there were no friction, is it possible for you to do any activities? No. Even for walking, your foot and the surface of the land or the earth should be in contact, and if the contact persists, there should be existence of friction. Means in this way friction is useful for us, right? But excessive friction in case of machines, it may result in tearing of that machine or damage to that machine. So there are certain bad effects of friction also. In case you just have seen one person who just now landed on the earth, who jumped from the moon, right? And what he used after covering some distance when he entered in earth gravitational field, like okay, after a few kilometers above the atmosphere, or once he come into the atmosphere, he started his parachute. Why? What would happen if he does not start his parachute? Can you tell me? Yes, of course. This is what friction. So to reduce, there was a friction between the solid and the air, gas. He was coming down from the space. He was jumping down on the earth atmosphere. So atmosphere is full of gases, right? So when atmosphere is full of gases means, and the person is nothing but a solid object. So when solid object falls into the gases atmosphere, so there will be friction definitely, but to reduce that friction, to avoid any injury to that person or that object, what he started? To reduce the friction, he started with the parachute, and that's the reason he's even safely landed over the earth. So this is the best example. So next move toward the third point, that is the effects of friction. In effects of friction, how will you able to see the effect of friction? Definitely when friction happens, means when one object moves over the other, that time you will be able to see the effect of friction. Now this effect of friction, when you see, just now I will give you an example. I am rubbing my hands. Rubbing creates heat. Can check how heat is produced. Okay, by rubbing these hands and check, you will feel that heat. So heat is created during this friction. If there were no friction, is it possible to rub my hands? No. Nothing is there. Even the smoothest thing in this world or in this universe, you find there must be friction somewhere. Okay. In next is that wearing, tearing of an object, or you say, so just take an example over here. You take a brand new shoes having creep in that, and then use the shoes. You will find the sole of both the shoes, difference in that shoes, that after, because of the friction, one of the shoes which you bought earlier, the soles get damaged, right, or reduced in size as compared to the new one. So this is what tearing and you can say tearing, wearing and tearing of happens in case of friction happens more. Next one is that even while writing with the pen, if there would be no friction, or is it possible to write for you as well? No, not at all. So because of only friction, you are able to hold this pen or pencil, and you are able to write on that paper. Why? There is a friction between this between that pen and the paper. But if that paper is having waxy coating or glazed paper, is it possible for you to write? No. Let's take an example. So now let's move towards the last point for today, that is fluid friction. So what is meant by fluid friction? So let's take that fluid is nothing but it may be gas, it may be liquid. Okay, so when solid object moves into a fluid, just like when solid object is moving towards into the air, what would happen? And when that solid object is moving in a liquid, what would happen? Where you will find friction more while moving in air or while moving in any liquid. Let's take an example, water. Water here liquid, air here gas. So in which state you will find that friction will be more, in case of air or in case of liquid? Water? Definitely in case of liquid there will be more friction. Okay, now let's take an example. Even to reduce this friction, the shape you have noticed, the shape of aeroplanes, the shape of kite which flies in air, they have streamlined body. Why they have streamlined body? So due to their streamlined body, there will be friction, reduce in the friction. Okay, so to reduce the friction between two objects, streamlined body is preferred, even in case of water as well. Fishes, they have streamlined body, so to reduce the friction and for the simple living, so it's they are modified, or they are having that shape of streamline. So this is all about the 4 points we discussed. Okay, the first point was kinds of friction, then in friction unnecessary evil, then fluid friction is there, and the effects of friction. So hope you understood these 4 points today. Okay, next session we'll discuss the new point. Till then, take care. Bye.
Does friction exist only between solid parts? Not necessarily. Friction is offered by fluids like air and water as well. And this force of friction due to fluids is referred to as a fluid friction. The friction we've seen between solid parts is referred to as dry friction. The major states of matter are solid, liquid and gas. And liquids and gases are generally referred to as fluids. Why are liquids and gases considered to be fluids? One common characteristic of fluids is that they have no fixed shape and can be easily deformed. Let's discuss a bit more about fluid friction in this lesson. Just like solids, fluids too exert a force of friction when objects move through them. Do you think air offers resistance? Doesn't seem intuitive, right? When I drop a stone from a particular height, it falls to the ground. Does air offer resistance here? Of course it does. What about water? Does it offer resistance? Yes, when the fish swim, they encounter fluid resistance from the water. The frictional force exerted by fluids is also referred to as drag. What does fluid friction depend on? Let's talk about the first obvious factor. It's the nature of the fluid. To understand this point, you just need to answer a simple question. An object moves from point A to B through air, And in the second case, a similar object travels from A to B through water. Which object do you think encounters more resistance? Clearly, it will be the water, right? Yes, more the thickness of the fluid, greater will be the frictional force acting on an object which moves through it. There's a term which describes a fluid's resistance to flow. It's called viscosity. So here, we can say that the water is more viscous than air. Higher the viscosity, more will be the resistance offered by that fluid. Honey is more viscous than water, which is why it offers more friction than water. That was the first factor affecting fluid friction, the nature of the fluid. Can you think of any other factor? Another factor is the speed with which the object is traveling. Higher the speed of the object moving through a fluid, greater will be the frictional force acting on it. A vehicle traveling at 100 miles per hour will face more drag of air as compared to a similar vehicle traveling at 50 miles per hour. Apart from the nature of the fluid and the speed with which the object is traveling, is there any other factor on which fluid friction depends on? Yes, it also depends on the shape of the object. And it's really important that we understand this factor well. Have you ever thought about why aeroplanes are shaped like this? It could just have been a rectangular box flying in the air. How have the fish evolved to be shaped like this? Why are the ships designed to be given this shape? There's a reason for all this. They're given a streamlined shape to minimize the fluid friction. The shape of the aeroplane, if you notice, is like that of a bird. This process of giving an object a particular shape to decrease the fluid friction is known as streamlining. Streamlining the object can greatly reduce the resistance offered by the fluid. A car faces lesser friction from air as it has a streamlined shape. A bus, on the other hand, will face more air friction as it doesn't have a streamlined shape. So these were the different factors on which fluid friction depends. Nature of the fluid, the speed of the object flowing through the fluid, and the shape of the object.